Raven ELYSE TV.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven and I'm here with my mom, Chef Tony. Wait, you should introduce yourself. Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven and I'm here with my mom. I thought you were gonna say Tony. Are you okay?
Okay.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven and I'm here with my mom. Today we're actually going to do a Q&A. So I asked you guys on Instagram to leave comments and ask questions either for me and my mom to kind of like answer about each other or stuff that has to do with both of us, or just kind of mainly focus on my mom and ask her whatever you guys wanted to ask her. She is my manager, so business questions, YouTube questions, motherhood questions, questions about cooking, because you guys do know her as Chef Tony. She used to be a chef. She knows a lot about cooking, so it's pretty much anything goes. I don't know what kind of questions we're gonna get. I'm gonna be in charge of like looking through the comments and picking what questions I think are the best, and then I'm just gonna ask her, and this is totally just off the top of her head, so it's gonna be very genuine.
I don't know what any of the questions are.
She didn't look at them at all, so this is like a pop quiz for her. All right, so let's just get into the first question. The number one question on the post was from Life of MDLJ, and she said, "Are you supposed to wash your meat off before you cook it?"
No. Next question.
Would you ever consider creating your own YouTube channel, specifically a cooking show YouTube channel?
Fun fact. I already have a YouTube channel, and it is kind of specifically a cooking show, albeit not the kind of cooking that you would be interested in. I used to be on a diet that required a specific meal plan, and I had some cooking videos on how to make food for that diet plan. In fact, that first video I did, remember you recorded that video in my kitchen on the phone before it was even meant to be a video camera?
I don't remember doing it on the phone, but
it was on the phone. It was on a little camera that wasn't even like back when cameras only had like 20 seconds of time, and you recorded it for me, and that video actually kind of went sort of viral. It got like, I think 100,000 views. Too much work.
She already handles.
I'm semi-retired.
And she already gets enough of the YouTube life from helping me with my stuff. I don't think she would want to double it.
No.
And have also
and it's hard
channel.
to film cooking content. I mean, even when I did
that's a whole different type of setup.
I mean, who's going to film?
Black Saray wants to know, as well as I saw this question a couple other times, so I'm going to try and do the questions that are frequently asked. What was Raven like as a kid, and does Ziya remind you of me as a kid? Do we act similar?
Let me think. What were you like as a kid? Like a little kid, a 2-year-old kid?
Like at Ziya's age, did I act the same way, or do I remind you of her?
No, not really. No, Raven was more of a baby at that age than Ziya is. Ziya's like grownish. Raven nursed until she was 2.5 years old.
I was still breastfeeding.
She was breastfeeding. I had to like get you off of me. Move. Get away. She was a baby. She could talk. She could talk with the pacifier in the corner of her mouth. But
because I also saw somebody ask, like, was I as advanced as Ziya is? Like, was I hitting all these milestones and learning all these things by this age, like Ziya?
I don't really remember. I mean, I know that you were, we have like family genetics. Early talking. I talked early. Ashley talked early. I think you talked early. Ziya, just verbal skills are prominent when you're like 2 in our family. 1 year to 2 years old.
And you do have that video when I was 2, when I was saying all the animal sounds.
Yeah, I mean, you do the animal sounds. I don't know if you knew colors.
Proof.
I don't even know if I tried to teach you colors, but
I at least knew the animal sounds.
Yeah, you were a smart baby.
But not as smart as Ziya.
No. Nobody's as smart as Ziya.
Not as smart as Ziya. What was it like being pregnant with me? Was I a difficult pregnancy and or delivery?
You were my most difficult delivery. Pregnancy, I mean, shoot, I was 30. How old was I? 30.
You don't remember?
4. I was late, mid-30s, so, it wasn't a picnic. But you were definitely my most difficult delivery.
Sincerely.kr wants to know, is there anything you still want to accomplish in your life?
No, I have lots of goals. I want to learn to speak a second language.
They make it sound like you're about to die. You're really, really old.
I want to learn to speak a different language. I want to maybe have, like live in a different country. I don't know. retire one day.
I don't know about living in a different country.
Yeah, I want to do that. But now you don't want me to.
Dia wants to know, what was the first thing you taught me how to cook? I mean, that's a really hard question because it was just always like, it wasn't like one moment. It was like, come here, Raven, I'm going to teach you how to cook this one thing for your first time. It was just like always, I was always in the kitchen
Just
watching you do stuff.
Get in there and cook. And
helping you with stuff.
chop this.
I
and
think
cut
like,
this.
I remember when you were like showing me how you make your macaroni, like probably for whenever one of those times you make the big pan of macaroni, because that was like one of my favorite things. So I kind of wanted to see what was in it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't
But
remember.
there
any
wasn't like a
specific
specific first thing. Can she get Ziya to eat more food than you?
No, less food.
No, yeah. If anything, Ziya is even more of a picky eater and even like fights more with wanting to eat when she's with her. What's your favorite thing about me?
You are. Raven is tenacious, and she's got a lot of. She perseveres, and she's resourceful. Those are things I like about her, and also all my other kids. Very resourceful, figure stuff out, get it done, hustler. What you thought I was gonna say? Sweet and kind. And
No, I already know I'm not sweet and kind. Smile Brooklyn, hey Brooklyn, wants to know, how long has your mom been your manager and why did you decide to keep it in the family?
she's asking you.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, my mom really officially like being my manager and really helping me with YouTube, that started when I was pregnant, really. Like 2015 going into 2016 is when she really started taking on a lot of those responsibilities. Before that, I mean, my YouTube channel wasn't a full-time job because I was still in school, so I was still doing everything myself, like all the emails, I never had a manager, never had a management company. Everything was just me answering all the emails, just like making stuff up as I went along. But then once I was done with college and I was pregnant and then my YouTube channel started picking up and like it started becoming like a bigger deal in general, then I just was coming to her with a lot more questions. Like, what does this contract mean? How should I answer this? What should I do for this?
True.
And then you kind of was like,
Yeah,
you were helping me. So
that is all true. But I had to beg you. I had to beg her to help with her business.
Oh, yeah,
when you first got out of college, you're like, oh, I'm going to do this full time, and this is all the things that I'm having to work on, because I wasn't really even watching your videos that much. I wasn't really paying attention. I mean, you said, I don't think I'm going to have to get a job after I graduate from college. I think I could do this full time. And when I looked at, everything you were doing, and I asked you, I said, why don't you let me help you? And you're like, no, you don't know how to answer emails, and you don't know what I want to do, and I can do this all myself. And I just had to basically beg you. And it's probably just because when Ziya came along, your business was growing too, and then you had a lot on your plate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was right. I didn't want help. I still struggle with that right now, and that's to answer the question why I keep it in the family and why I don't ever like hire other assistants and stuff, is because I don't trust people. I don't want help. I don't like having more hands in the pot when it comes to my own creative things. So even just letting my mom be my manager is already hard for me, but it has been very helpful, and it definitely is worth it. And she's the only person that I trust to do it. So it's been working so far.
And also, the reason she doesn't want outside management is because she knows outside management would not put up with her crap. Nobody's going to nag you and follow up with you and say, did you get this done and did you get that done? She knows that.
So Reinvent Me Kiki and Georgie with 2 E's _ and a bunch of other people are asking, how did you become a personal chef? What made you want to do that, and how did that happen?
I've always liked to cook, and when Raven was in elementary school, I was imagining a job where I could set my own hours and do something that I loved and have the flexibility to be there for my kids before school and after they got out of school. And somehow, I think that was on Food Network, I saw a special or an episode about personal chefs. Ended up looking that up and started doing some research on how to become a personal chef. I kind of manifested that.
So you feel like you manifested the career opportunity that you didn't really know was like a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a
Did
thing.
you always already love to cook? Like
I always loved to cook, and when I saw that there was a job that you could actually like spend your time in the grocery store, spend your time planning menus and making meals for people, just like I did for my own family, but then get paid really well for it, I was all over that.
Okay, Brinks wants to know, do you have any tips for beginners looking to start cooking? They want to learn, but she's scared of everything when she cooks.
She's scared?
Like people who don't know how to cook at all and just like are scared to use the oven, scared to just do anything.
Well, I mean, lots of things are easy. Maybe just think about what it is you like. I don't know.
Cooking is easier than you think, because I don't really like cooking and I'm probably not the best cook, but when I actually try and when you actually like get me to do stuff, you realize like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like to bake a chicken, to cook some salmon.
I mean, you might mess up a lot at first, but I mean, that's how you learn.
And you just have to try it. You're not gonna burn your house down. I mean, it would take a lot for you to really cause serious damage or really make yourself sick, but it's not as hard as you think. Like you just have to try it. How long you gonna be on gluten? Or is it permanent? Well, this is an interesting question. I don't know if you really have an answer to this, but Be Amazing says, when you were Raven's age, what was something that was difficult for you that she does and it makes you proud because it was hard for you when you were her age?
Honestly, it's the whole balancing of motherhood and business, because when I was Raven's age, I was a mom and I had several businesses that I was trying to do while I took care of my child, and it was really hard. So, I mean, that.
She had my older sister when she was
21.
So we have a similar
I was 21.
life story.
I've had several businesses through all the kids, but I mean, I actually had a business when I had Ashley. I used to type term papers back when they used typewriters. I used to type term papers for college students. I even started like a house cleaning business.
My mom has had a million businesses. I think that's where I get my entrepreneurship. Either that's where I get the interest in it, or that's where I get the being good at it, is because she always had like a bunch of different businesses. Even after I was born, you had several just during my lifetime, I feel like. So I always saw her working from home or doing her own thing, and that was a lot more appealing to me than like going to an office job, which is what I saw my dad doing. And I think that's what he's good at, and I don't think he minds it. But for my personality, me and my dad have kind of different personalities. So kind of looking at both of my parents, I was like, I think I'd rather stay home and not have to talk to people. Uniquely, Alexis wants to know, who taught you how to cook?
Not my mama. She's gonna hate this, but
And grandmother watches all my videos.
She does, and she is very talented in a lot of things, and she's probably gotten better. This ain't about grandmother. I taught myself. I used to cook.
What she's trying to say is,
I taught myself. I used to go through the cookbook when I was like 12 or 13 years old and try to make the recipes.
When your mom can't cook, you learn to cook for yourself.
I eat bologna sandwiches.
Okay, from a more business manager point of view, would you as my manager to tell the next person, do you think it's worth it to still try to be a YouTuber, an influencer, to start tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube is only growing. It's only getting bigger. The thing you have to do, though, is to really figure out what you're good at, what's unique about you, and figure out a niche. A niche? Niche?
I hear people say it both ways.
Figure out a niche, because, some of the YouTube categories are really crowded. Like, beauty is really crowded. Natural hair is getting more crowded. But if you have a specific niche and you can serve a certain market, absolutely get started.
Okay, this question is from It's Lex Jones. Are there any certain personality traits that you see inside that you also saw in me? So you already said that.
Yeah, she's
not
very
really that similar, but is there anything that we're similar with?
Strong-willed, knows what she wants, knows how to get you to give it to her.
Manipulative.
Just strong. Just she kind of knows what she wants.
Yeah, I mean, from me trying to imagine myself as a 2-year-old, I don't think Ziya and I are very similar. Okay, so someone wanted to know. I couldn't find the question in there again, but someone was asking, do I go to my mom with like dating and breakup problems? Do I tell her all that stuff? Do I ask her for advice? Are we close like that on that topic? And then also, if so, what's the best advice that she has given me in terms of like dating and breakups? So to answer, do I go to her about that stuff? Not really. I'm not very good at like accepting advice and actually, I know I'm not good at like listening to what you have to say when it comes to like dating and stuff. So I think I mostly just go to you to vent. So if I'm having like a really bad problem or a heartbreak or something and I just basically need to like cry it out to someone, then I will tell her about it. Like I'm not completely like private and shut off with everything. So I do like tell her stuff, but not really in a way where I'm like asking for advice.
Right. And because you don't think we know anything. I know anything about how it is to date, how it is.
I just think it's way different when you were my age dating and compared to now with social media and everything. It's just like, I just think there's like a whole nother layer of complicatedness added because of social media and just the way things are now. It's just not the same as back in the day.
Yeah, but it is.
Where y'all used to just hook up at the disco.
We used to hook up at the disco. I'm telling you, the basics.
Didn't you meet Daddy at the disco? Or see him there? I think somebody did ask, how did you meet my dad?
Why you gonna put... Okay, yeah. No, it's... To finish this question, it's basically the same. Relationships are basically the same.
I mean, I agree that the basic principles are probably the same, but I just think there's a lot that just has been added onto it. It's just like, but you don't really get it because if it was on, then like, I don't know.
Every generation thinks that, but yeah, okay. So
I do tell her stuff, but I don't really listen. Is the answer to that question.
She only comes to me to complain, not for advice.
And I'm pretty sure somebody asked, how did you meet my dad? And it was at the disco.
Meet at the disco. It was a blind date, and one of the attorneys I worked with met him at the disco and suggested that he call me, and he did. What? You like cringy.
It is cringy. But you do confirm that the initial.
I was not at the disco. There was a disco.
Didn't you say that you used to see him there though before you?
I did used to.
You
see
were like,
him
oh
out.
yeah, I seen you at the disco. Malcolm said, Malcolm said, how do you feel about having me as a son-in-law?
I love it, Malcolm.
No,
because.
I didn't mean to say ill, Malcolm. I'm sorry, but I'm very surprised that you are endorsing this.
I'm endorsing Malcolm. He's a nice guy. I mean, I've only met him a couple of times. He's a nice guy, and I think he would worship you.
Team Ogden's gonna be mad.
Oh, yeah, Ogden too. Yeah, Malcolm.
My mom just says yes to anybody.
No, I don't. No.
Anybody that I haven't dated. That you don't already have the track record of. Okay, well, I don't know. We can't find the question, but I think my mom just wants to answer this question on camera. What kind of guy do you want me to be with?
That's not a good question because I can't tell you what kind of guy you should be with. I could tell you.
Like, what would you want? What are the main qualities you would want for me in a guy?
So I think it's important for every girl or woman to... nobody can tell you what kind of guy is best for you, but once you figure out what it is that you want, you need to make a list, and you need to put those things on that list. I mean, the list that I would have for you would be someone who is kind, somebody who is reliable, someone who is confident, someone who
is rich.
Has a good income. Not, rich, a good income. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having that on your list. Someone who's tall. I mean, that would be my list. Somebody who's tall. Because,
You don't want to see me with a shorter?
I don't want to be... I'm talking about, like, if it were me.
Oh.
If I were you. Because I wouldn't want to be, like, looking down. Once you make that list, then you're really clear on what it is that you want. And you can refer back to that list, when somebody tries to holler at you or tries to date you.
Nothing.
And then, if you look at your list and it's like he's none of those things on that list, or he's missing the large majority of the things that you've written down on your list, then move next. When I was a single mom, and I was thinking about dating, I knew that, whoever I dated had to love children and had to be open to being with someone with children. I mean, that might be something that you would put on your list. Whatever it is that you're looking for in a guy, I think you know in your head what those things are.
Yeah, I would agree with those. I mean, those are kind of like the main big things that I think anybody would say. Like, who doesn't want somebody who's kind? Who wants somebody that's mean? Like, those are kind of the obvious things.
Okay, somebody with good credit.
But like more of the specific, I mean, yeah, I would say like financially stable is going to be a big thing for me because I don't want to go backwards. I know I'm young, but I'm already have kind of made that step with financial stability, so I don't want to go backwards with somebody else. So like that's something that's a little bit more detailed that I would be looking for is financial stability, and then also the thing about liking kids and being open to that is a more specific thing that I'm looking for. Being tall, I guess, is kind of specific.
Yeah, but most importantly, he has to really, really care about you. I mean, to the point of, really, 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 really be into you. Sometimes a guy can have all those qualities, but they're just kind of like, kind of lukewarm.
Yeah, and that's I think a difference between back in the day compared to now is now I would say a lot of guys are just lukewarm all the time.
No, the same guy.
I think because it's like a different, it's a societal shift of like, we don't care about settling down as much in general. I think so.
Guys, period, don't care about settling down. I mean, that's just what it is.
But no, because think about back in the old days. It was all about settling down.
Yeah,
you get a wife, you get married, you have kids. Like that was the society. Then it started slowly
because there were certain
from
things that they couldn't get and do when they weren't married, so they had to get married.
That's what I'm saying. So now it's like the complete opposite, even more so than it was in your youth. No, I'm not everybody. I mean, you can still find. I mean, I know you can still find, but like I think it's harder because now a lot of people are like, oh, I don't need to get married. I don't need to settle down and have kids. I don't need to buy a house. I'm just gonna be a YouTuber and travel the world.
Men, I'm not even going.
That's another video. We have to do a different video about relationships, I guess. Random question: do we have Spanish blood, Spanish and or Trini blood in our family? Because people always ask, are we Trinidadian or what's it called? Caribbean.
No.
Because we listen to Soca Santa.
No, we just like that song.
At Christmas. And also, are we Spanish? And is that why Ziya goes to a Spanish school? No. No and no. We are black and black. So we just like to listen to that song at Christmas, just randomly. And Ziya goes to a Spanish school just because I want her to. Okay, and now the question you've all been waiting for, the #1 most asked question, literally every other question in the comments. Out of all these 200 comments, 100 of the comments are, how did you react when Raven told you she was pregnant?
Not well. I
can laugh about it now, but
I was pissed.
It's not funny.
I was pissed. I was pissed off. I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't sad. I was pissed off. And she was pissed at me for being pissed.
Well, of course
You're like, what? I was pissed off. I was mad.
So you weren't disappointed. You weren't. You were just mad.
I was mad.
So why were you mad?
I was mad because I didn't feel like that's what you had planned for yourself.
It wasn't.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of things were happening in rapid succession. You graduated. Okay, great. Then, we're looking for an apartment. You get your apartment. That's, downtown Dallas, which is...
You already didn't like some of the stuff I was doing.
I mean, no, I was fine with that. I was fine with your apartment.
You were fine with it, but I think kind of in the back of your head, you were kind of like, why downtown?
I did, but I was totally supportive of that. and that you were going to really kind of buckle down. You had done well. I mean, you'd supported yourself with YouTube before this, before you graduated, and you'd done well, and it was going to be, kind of this single, downtown dwelling city girl for at least a while. But, it was like the 2 weeks after you moved in.
I mean, that, to be fair, it was like a very like, are you kidding me? Because it was like just right when they had got me settled in this whole little plan that I had for myself. It was like, psych, just kidding. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I need y'all to move me back out of this apartment, go back to Austin, and just undo everything we just did, because that's not at all what I'm going to be doing anymore because I'm pregnant. That's not how I told them. That wasn't the way it went. But that was basically like the gist of it, because I just graduated. We went through all of this to find my mom had to help me find my downtown apartment. They had to help me move into the downtown apartment, which was a headache in itself. We had to
that was horrible.
I was on the 22nd floor. We had to take all the big furniture up through the trash chute, basically, and finally got moved in because I was like, I really, really want to live here. This is like my dream apartment. So they helped me with everything, just like logistically. I was already paying, like she said, I was already like taking care of myself financially. So it wasn't like they had to buy me the apartment or anything, but just like helping me with a bunch of stuff and getting used to the fact like, okay, Raven's going to be living in downtown Dallas now, not, home in Austin or anything. And, she's going to have this YouTube channel. So I kind of had just now got them prepped for what I'm going to be doing after college. And then like literally 2 weeks later, I called them like, no, none of that's going to be happening. And then I moved back to Austin and kind of had to undo everything. So I think that had a lot to do with, I think it would have been different if I had already, like if I graduated college and just was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, I'm just moving back home. Mm-hmm. Then it kind of would have been like, maybe not as big of a, I don't know, not as big of a deal if I already wasn't really like doing much or something. I don't know. But since I had this whole plan, it was like a big deal. And then I kind of had to like go backwards a little bit. I think that was kind of like annoying.
Yeah.
It was annoying for me. I'm just speaking basically just from my own opinion. It was annoying for me.
Being pregnant and having a baby and being single, that's, it happens. And, fortunately you're able to take care of yourself. And, you ended up staying in the apartment for a little bit and then moving back home closer to the time that Ziya was born. And that involved, of course, breaking a lease, which involved paying extra money, but fortunately you were able to do that. And, when you moved back to Austin, I said, we hiring a moving company. I'm not moving you. You're hiring a moving company.
Yeah, I mean, that was really like a big deal, was the fact that I was able to pay for a lot of things. Pay to break the lease, to move back home where I needed to be. Pay to start a new lease at a new place, in a nice place where I wanted to live and where I felt like I had everything I needed. Pay for the movers because she wasn't about to help me move again after what she just did. And it was a lot of stuff I felt like I had to pay for just to like reset myself up in a new lifestyle because I'm pregnant. And it would have been way harder if I was broke. Okay, so how long were you mad? And then did you start getting happy, excited about it? Were you just mad all the way through?
How long? I mean, it was a few weeks. I was mad for a few weeks. And, when I realized that, look, this baby is coming, she's coming, that's,
And then somebody also asked, did it make you more excited to find out that it was a girl?
Yes. I like girls. Until they get to be about 13, and then it's all fun and games. It's over. But, once I realized that, Ziya was coming, and, even before she was Ziya, when it was just a baby, and, I went to your first ultrasound appointment. Mm-hmm. That was, I pretty much got excited after that. I mean,
I think that's kind of when we both were able, I think, and I hear a lot of people say that, it's like when you go to your first ultrasound appointment and you hear the baby's heartbeat for the first time and you can kind of see the baby. I mean, it looks like a little speck, but that's your moment of like realizing this is real. Like this is really happening. It's not just like a thought in my mind, like I'm pregnant, but it's like there's a heartbeat, there's a baby in there, this is happening, that's your baby, that's your grandbaby. That's when it kind of like clicks in your mind and you go from just being like mad or upset about it to actually being like excited, like actually this is something to be happy about because this is a real baby about to be here, and that's, you know, really exciting. So I think for both of us, that was probably after that appointment was when it was like, oh, kind of have like a different attitude about it.
I mean, you know, it's nothing to do at that point except roll up your sleeves and get ready for it. And I mean,
it wasn't just all sprinkles and rainbows after that appointment. It still was like hard and still had like a lot of like sad moments, angry moments, still a lot of like issues throughout the whole pregnancy, and still up till now. It's always like not just going to be peaches and cream, but overall we definitely have a much better attitude, of course, now that she's born.
Yeah, but I mean, I was a single mother. After I had my first child, I was a single mother for, well, 2 children, you know, so I'm divorced and then I have another child. And, you know, I don't remember, I mean, I know people always say, well, being a single mother is hard. Yeah, it's hard, but just being a parent, period, is hard. You know, it's a lot easier when you have a good income. At the time that I was a single mother, I mean, I made ends meet, but it wasn't, you know, I didn't have a whole lot of extra income. You know, there's challenges. There's challenges to parenthood, period, and there's challenges to single parenting, co-parenting, being a divorced mom, being a single mom. Fortunately, I think for the most part, it's gone smoothly, at least, you know, on your end. Well, sort of kind of smooth. Some parts are smooth. Some parts are really smooth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's definitely, if you were to compare me to the next single mom or whatever, like I have things going well for me, definitely in a lot of areas, going better than most, and, you know, things that I'm very thankful for, and things that just kind of like seem to just fall together at the right time, like with you and your job, getting a job that was close to where I live, and also having all this extra time to be able to help me, and like you being my manager. Like there's certain things that did just kind of like come together and work out really well for me so that I can continue on with my life, continue on with my YouTube channel, and not just feel stuck and feel like a failure and feel like I can barely just survive. Like I've definitely been doing more than just surviving, and that's because of my career and because of my family. Like having those two things combined helped me flourish probably more than I definitely would have if it was just literally me struggling as a normal, fresh out of college person.
Because you were kind of thinking about, when you first found out that you were pregnant with Ziya, you were saying, well, I'm going to stay in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right. I mean, you know, if that's what you want to do.
That,
and then
why I thought,
I don't know either.
That would have never had worked.
But I did think, I mean, when you said that's what you wanted to do.
I think I could, if I really put my mind to it and that's what I really wanted to do, I probably could have. You know, when you're a mom, I feel like whatever circumstances you're in, you make it work. You just make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, choosing to do that rather than choosing to come home to Austin, that wouldn't have been a good choice. So I'm glad that I made the right choice to, even though I had to break my lease and move out of my dream apartment, like it still was worth it to be able to be closer to my family, be in my hometown. I wasn't even like familiar with Dallas. I didn't have like friends and family there at all. So I would have just been like lost in the world with my baby. But here I'm familiar with the city. I have friends and family here, and I think that was just the best choice. Once we had the first ultrasound appointment and once I got settled into my apartment in Austin, then it was just like a lot more just excitement and getting ready for the baby, setting up the nursery, having a baby shower. Like everything was like pretty much just a positive attitude, and it wasn't, after that, it wasn't like, definitely not like a regret or a disappointment or anything like that. Like it was just something to be happy about, really. Unless you don't agree.
No,
I mean, like I said, though, there's always still stuff that's like hard, but overall, it wasn't like you constantly telling me like, well, why did you get pregnant in the first place? You should have never had that baby. I told you you should have never had that baby. Like, I think that people people maybe secretly think that's what they're wanting you to say.
No, I mean, even, and we didn't talk about this, because this video is kind of like you and me, but, you know, Daddy, because they said, how did your parents react? Daddy, I think Daddy was more, you know, disappointed, because that's what daddies do. They're like, my little girl, and, you know, this is not what I had planned for her, that's this type of thing. But even he was slower to come along, you know, than I was. You know, and like I said, he wasn't mad. He was more like,
he didn't ever say anything angry or yell at me or do anything that was like coming from a place of being mad towards me. It was like how you're saying, like, oh, my little girl, like sad.
He was worried, you know, because Dad
like very
is a
protective type of thing.
You know, how is this gonna happen, and how is this gonna get taken care of, and how's she gonna do this, that, and the other? You know, more from.
He didn't want to see me like struggling and hurting or being in pain in any type of way. So he was like he just seemed really, really worried and like protective and like sad, like, oh my gosh, she's gonna have to do this. I don't, you know.
Yeah. So, but even he got, you know, before Ziya was born, he definitely got more excited about it. And, you know, it's so funny now because Ziya is her Papa's girl. I mean, she's just crazy about Papa, and he just can't, you know, he can't stand to go. I mean, I hate to go a couple of days without seeing her, but he just really gets like, I haven't seen Ziya in 2 days.
They have a really like good connection. Nobody else.
I mean, I probably had the worst reaction.
You were the only one who had like a big like emotional response, or we had an argument about it. But I didn't have arguments with any of the rest of like my brothers. It was just like, yay, cool. Like my friends were excited. My siblings didn't say anything crazy to me. Nobody said anything. Like everybody was very, like you could tell, just like wanting to keep a positive attitude and understanding that like a baby is something to be happy about. Like no point in me trying to make you feel bad about it now. Like what's that gonna do? So rather just be a supportive family member or friend. And yeah, it wasn't, luckily for me, it wasn't like a big like, oh, I feel so attacked and everyone hates me now. I don't have any support. Like I felt very supported. And
I love being, you know, the support for you while you were pregnant, and you know, being able to answer questions and go to doctor's appointments and be there, especially, you know, when you had Ziya. But, you know, the one thing that I really want for you is for, you know, if you choose to have more kids, is to be in, you know, and I'm not saying you have to be married. Daddy might disagree. But, you know, to be in a loving, caring, committed relationship, because having that while you're pregnant and giving birth is way different from, you know, what you experienced even with me as your support system. And so I would like for you to one day experience that. And I know that because I've done it both ways too. You know, I've been in a loving, committed relationship, and then I've been single.
I agree with that. I think going into it, I would have never thought that I would want to have a pregnancy with my mom as the main person. But after it has already happened, I'm glad about it, because I feel like I was able to, like you said, get those questions answered, and kind of, it was like having like a doula or something, like a birthing coach with you. And that's not just your birthing coach, but you're with that person all the time. So every little thing, every little question that you have, you get like a lot of support from someone who has had 4 kids and has experience, and like can actually be more help. I see all the time that like your partner, your husband or whatever, very supportive, but they're not helpful. Like they have no idea what to tell you or how to help you, and you're just kind of like, shut up, get out the way, like you're not helping. And so I felt like actually having her, like she actually was helpful. And a lot of moments that probably would have been like scary, panicking, like she knew what to do. So I actually liked having that for my first pregnancy, because now I feel like I'm educated. So going into my second pregnancy, if my partner's not helpful, then at least I have some experience going into it. But I do agree that I would want to experience it the other way now that I've experienced it the mom-daughter way. But yeah, I think that's enough for this video. Hopefully we answered all the questions that you mainly wanted to know. And if you guys want us to do another Q&A, if there's still more questions, if you want to do, I don't know, maybe we should do a whole separate one on relationships or a whole separate one on
That's a whole separate video.
cooking. Or if you guys have suggestions of like for our next video together, comment that down below. We do need a comment of the day. How about we just ask, because I actually am curious about this. How many of you guys are moms and how many kids do you have?
Oh, that's a good question.
So comment down below if you're a mom, how many kids you have. If you're not a mom, tell me that you're not a mom. I'm curious to see like the ratio of moms to not moms. So comment that down below for the comment of the day. Make sure to give this video a
thumbs up
and subscribe if you're not already, and make sure to hit the notification bell after you subscribe so that you can be notified of when I upload. We're sitting here with my momager who does all the behind the scenes stuff and make sure that everybody's seen the video within the first hour, and not enough people are clicking on it. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and get the notifications so that she can stop bugging me about it.
And new videos every
yes.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and sometimes
I do have
Sundays.
a schedule. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and sometimes Sundays. I guess I'll have to add that to my outro. But yes, I'm on a consistent schedule now, if you haven't noticed. And I think that's everything. Anything else you want to tell the people?
No.
Okay, that's it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.